Nice. Thank you.
Just because a thing is difficult doesn't mean you shouldn't learn it. In fact, according to Mr. George Baker, you shouldn't let anything stand in your way, not even 100 years. His story is in this book called Mr. George Baker.
Mr. George Baker, written by Amy Hest, illustrated by John J. Mood, read by Wayne Brady. See this man? This one here sitting on the porch? That's Mr. George Baker, and he's 100 years old. No kidding. Hurry up, Harry. Mr. Harry in charge? That's George, all snappy and happy in the morning. He always calls, "Hurry up, Harry," when I'm crossing lawns, his and mine. And he's always there first, waiting on the porch. See this man? This one here, zipping up his book bag? His book bag is red like mine, and there's a book inside. But George can't read. Wow. 100 years old and he never learned how. That must be corrected, says George. I really like his sweater, all hangy with 3 buttons. It's chilly in the morning, and we both hug our knees. And wait. We wait, watching leaves blow off trees. They fly for a while, they float, they tumble for a while, they swoop. Now the screen door creaks. And you know who teeters out? Mrs. Baker. And some people say she's 90. Well, here you are, Harry, looking after my George. Mrs. Baker puts a sack on the step beside George, and there's lunch in the sack for later. For the man I love, says Mrs. Baker. Why, Mrs. B, you flatter me. George gets up, all crookedy and slow, and the next thing you know, they're dancing. Then Mrs. Baker gives a wave and a wink. Goodbye, she says. Be good, she says, and goes on back in the house with purple shutters. George Baker and me, George Baker and I, we sit on the step and wait. Side by side, we wait. See these crookedy fingers going on his knees? They fly across his knees. Tappity boom, tappity boom, tappity boom, boom tap. George Baker is a drummer man, and some people say he's famous. Shh, listen. George gets up real slow. I take his hand, and he takes mine, and we shuffle down the walk to the big school bus. Morning, says the driver. We've been waiting, answers George. There are 22 kids on the bus, plus 4 grown-ups on the bus. They all want George. Over here, they cry. Sit here, they say. But George sits with me, each and every day. See this man? This one in room 7? That's Mr. George Baker, and he's 100 years old. No kidding. He's learning to read with the grown-ups in room 7. And my room is right down the hall. I'm learning too, and it's hard. We can do it, says George after school. Our books are green, and his lips sound out the letters, real slow. But his fingers fly across his knees like a big old drum.
Mr. George Baker, the famous tappity-boom drummer, wasn't really 100 years old. Nope, not at all. He was 100 years young. He viewed every day of his life as a new beginning. His age didn't matter. His determination did. People are never too old to learn. In fact, some people, like Mr. George Baker, make learning a lifelong adventure that keeps them young and kicking. Meet the Steppers, a dance group of seniors between the ages of 59 and 87 years old.
Oh, no, we're just going to do our exercises right now, okay?
Their leader is Barbara Taylor, a former school principal and lifelong dancer.
I think that what we'll do is, because that ending is important. I'm Barbara Taylor, and I'm 82. I'm going to be 83 New Year's Day.
Many of the Steppers had never danced before joining the group, but they wanted to learn something new.
I got involved with the Steppers by invitation of the founder. I went in 1998, and I've been there ever since. They didn't let me go. A little bit lower. I think in many ways the dance and the movement is life-giving.